Wow, Nico, can I see that one? That is beautiful. So, so good. I think there's two more, right? Here, I'll take it. Welcome back to our suburban homestead. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We are back again with another harvest video because this is what's been happening at the homestead. We have so much to harvest today from our small backyard garden. We live on a quarter acre and our garden is only 1,500 square feet. And we have been able to avoid the grocery store for several weeks because we are growing all the produce we need. So thank you for coming along as we harvest today. Nico here is harvesting the peppers. We are so happy that we have so many peppers that we can actually afford to wait for them to get red. Good job. You got it. There's another one in the back, love, so you're going to have to go to the other side. Nice. Good job, Nico. You got a lot of peppers. Yep. We have two pepper plants that are growing right next to one of our beds. And I put them here right on the path where the wood chips are because we ran out of space. And I'm actually very impressed. These are doing really well. They have
Even
some
though I
really...
accidentally stepped on them.
Yeah, you accidentally stepped on one.
Yep.
These are really big. We have another huge one back there. So I think I'm going to harvest two of those. Or maybe not, because we have so many peppers already that we need to eat. And my sons actually prefer when they turn red. So we'll probably just wait on those. We have been harvesting pounds and pounds of green beans between these plants here in this archway and then also our long green bean bed that we have on the other side of the garden. It has been a lot. It's been good. But we eat a lot of green beans, so we actually don't even have enough to preserve. We're just eating them fresh, which is great, but we're just not preserving at this point. Some of these have gotten a little too big, so we are going to save those for seed. Oh, these are so hard to see, so hard to find. But I am so glad that these plants are recovering after being attacked by a woodchuck.
Groundhog?
It's a groundhog.
Oh, a groundhog, yeah. So these are the green beans that we got from this archway over here. We have some of the long beans, but we also have just the Kentucky Wonder pole beans. And now we're gonna head over to the other side of the garden where we have a long bed of green beans. And like I said before, we've been harvesting from that bed already several times, and we'll see how much we get today.
I just don't like getting down like this and having to
I see.
go through these and try to figure them out, where I feel like it's easier when they trellis up. You can just take them off.
Yes, that makes sense.
So, but the taste of these is really good. Yeah, but really it's not that hard. You just kind of rifle through these and you kind of just find the ones here.
Yeah,
like
I actually
this.
find it fun.
So it's not too bad. It really is not. These ones are not quite ready here. What I forgot, what kind of green bean are these again?
I can't remember the variety.
Blue Lake, is it?
Oh, I think so. I think one of them is Blue Lake.
When I'm doing this, though, the one thing is I see all the weeds in the process, and I just want to weed them all out right now. But I also have to realize that I don't have time to do all the weeding and harvest these, so I'm just going to focus on harvesting them right now.
I'm pretty sure we got some seeds in the seed packet that were not supposed to be there because we have some of these green beans that are the trellising type, and obviously this is not the right place for them, and so they're just kind of collapsing and getting tangled all over the place with the other plants. So I don't know what kind they are, but This is not where I wanted them to be, but it doesn't matter. We're still harvesting from them and just trying to make the best of it.
Jackpot. Found a whole bunch over here on this one.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I like when you sometimes find a plant and look at all this almost from one plant here. Just so much that it's yielding. That's incredible. I love it. Absolutely love it when it happens.
Yeah, and we've harvested from these plants several times already. And we just harvested 2 days ago for our meal. Like this entire row was completely harvested. And now we already have some more. It's incredible. I am hoping that we'll be able to freeze some. But like I said, we eat so many green beans that I don't know if it's going to be possible. But that would be really cool if we can.
Yeah, green beans is definitely one of our staples. It's definitely something that we eat very often, as Laura was saying. And so this is actually a really important crop for us to grow each year. And it really helps us.
Because we buy a lot of green beans from the store otherwise. As a matter of fact, I think this is cutting it close, but I think we still have time for one last crop. So today we're actually going to harvest the rest of our onions. We're going to have an entire bed that is available, and I want to plant green beans there again and just have another bed just like this one, same size. And so it's going to produce, again, pounds and pounds. I want to say that in this bed I have over 100 green bean plants. So it's a lot. So they better be producing a lot. And they are. This is one of those green bean plants that is a climber. As you can see, like it has these runners that are tangling up everywhere. And the plant is kind of collapsing. But it's still producing really well. I harvested these green beans. They're different. They're flat. So definitely not something that I was expecting. So it must have been a mistake in the seed packet. These Roma tomatoes here are starting to ripen, which is good. So exciting. We have harvested from these plants already and use them to make sauce. Some of these are just falling off the vine. So we have a few here that are ready. Our volunteer tomatoes have been so productive, but I don't go back there. It is way too wild. The grass is really tall. There's just way too many weeds. I'm not a big fan of that area. But I am glad that we ended up trellising these plants, because if we hadn't, it would be in a much worse situation. We've been able to harvest so much from them, and I think it's because we have pruned some of them, especially in the beginning, and trellised them up this arch over here.
Some of these really, there's so much foliage that, to be honest, we really need to cut some more over here, but it's just so hard to manage all this. There's so much to do in other parts of the garden. So recently, last couple of weeks, I've kind of just been letting it go, but you can clearly tell that some pruning needs to be done in here. There's a lot of extra shoots. I believe that if I did spend some more time, if I had more time to kind of prune this out, it would probably even bring more of a harvest, more of a crop than what it's already doing. But it's absolutely amazing that we didn't plant these, and it's just yielded so much fruit for us.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with everything, and especially now, like towards the end of August, we're tired. We're exhausted. It's been a long season. We started since February, really. Started growing seeds indoors. So by this time of the year, we just kind of get tired from all the extra things that need to get done. The lettuce plants that I planted here by the tomatoes, they actually started to bolt. We've had some really hot days, so that makes sense. So I'm going to harvest these actually, because we have some pretty good lettuce leaves over here that we could use. they taste good. They're not bitter yet, even though they started to bolt. So we're gonna harvest these so that this can be for dinner tonight. I think it was a good idea overall to have them here, but maybe just the timing wasn't the best. Although last year I did something similar to this, but it was in a different part of the garden that maybe got a little bit more shade. Maybe that's why, because last year we were able to have lettuce throughout the summer, but our lettuce this summer has struggled. I mean, we've had great lettuce in the spring, but it's really struggled during the hot months. So I think in the future, I need to think of a better setup. And the other problem with these lettuce plants is that we had a bunny or something and it ate a lot of our plants. So it's probably going to be something that I'm going to keep growing in a raised bed, and that will probably be a better place for the lettuce plants anyway. This is a new variety of lettuce that we're trying. It actually came to me as a free seed packet from Baker Creek. So I'm excited to try this one out. And I think the shape of the leaves, that's kind of how it is. I don't think they get much bigger than that. I'm not quite sure. Just excited to try something new. Yep. We also did end up putting some lettuce plants here in this raised bed with the kale. And again, these are bolting also. So I'm gonna harvest all of these actually, and I'm just gonna remove the plants because these are done. It's too hot, and I'm gonna try planting lettuce again in a few weeks when the temperature starts to cool. These are some sad looking plants, but for not being a successful crop, we have a pretty decent sized salad bowl over here, so it's good. I mean, we still get a meal out of these even though they didn't perform the way I wanted them to. Oh, that's a really long one. Oh man, I don't know what variety. I don't remember what variety these are. I think it was like a seed packet that had several varieties in it, kind of like a mixed variety packet. Oh, those are good, Nico. So we're just gonna harvest the radishes, all the radishes in this bed, even though some of them didn't grow very well, but I think it'll be good. I think it's time for them to come out. We don't want them to get woody. Also, the zucchini plants that are growing are gonna appreciate the space as well. So you're gonna go ahead and harvest all of that, Nico?
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, all of them, even the ones that are too small. The ones that are too small, we're just gonna give them to the chickens.
Like this thing?
Mm-hmm.
No, go on your side.
Yes, there is.
So right over here, this is supposed to be a path, but there's just so much there. Those are not weeds, actually. Those are the asparagus. Those are the asparagus plants that are kind of falling over. I think that's normal, but because they get so tall and they're so thin, and it's kind of like there's a lot going on there. Wow, Nico, good job.
That's a good sized one.
That's a really big one. We have a lot of big ones in this bed. We also have a ton of weeds here.
Yeah, it's quite bad. But again, like Laura said in the past, sometimes you just do what you can. And we just couldn't get to this. Again, this is another testimony of the fact that we need to be able to turn off the irrigation system sometimes on these because these are quite wet again.
Yeah, because it got watered this morning. Okay, and then here's another big one. Wow. And this little one is probably was just too close to the other ones to be able to grow.
This is our second raised bed of onions that we're harvesting. And I do think that we changed some of the irrigation lines to better water them, and I do think that has been a success. But again, having a valve that will be able to turn off and on this section, I think will be crucial moving forward. So next year, I'm going to look into trying to change a little bit of the design of my irrigation system to include that valve.
We harvested the other bed, what was it, like a month ago?
Yeah, I think
it was over a month ago, right?
Think about that, yeah.
Yeah. And we let these stay longer in here. And I'm glad we did, because otherwise the bed would have just sat here empty because we weren't ready to plant anything else. And also in our garage, we just didn't have enough room to store all these. But now that we're running low on our supply, we're going to have room for these. So this is good.
Oh, we got this one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Nico found, hold on, maybe let's take some of the weeds out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So this one looks huge, but in between, we also have planted some cilantro right here. This is cilantro. So not everything is weeds. Some of it is, but some of it isn't. So we want to be careful that we're actually taking out the weeds and not the cilantro plants. But yeah, Nico's found a really big one right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nico.
He calls it a pumpkin. It looks like a pumpkin. Wow, that's huge. My goodness, I have never seen an onion that big.
That's got to be the biggest one that we've
Yeah,
done.
absolutely. We're going to have to weigh it and see how much that one weighs.
That's going to be another good sized one there as well. Go ahead.
And this is the one that was right next to it, which is also really big, which is really surprising because sometimes when they are close together, they don't get as big. But these two were right next to each other, like literally touching each other's sides, and both of them are huge.
Right, because these two here that I just pulled out that were right next to each other over here, they're quite small. So it's quite incredible that those two that Laura just showed you were massively big.
These are the ones that were right next to each other right here. Unbelievable. I cannot. Look at this. Huge.
Some of this is kind of like a treasure hunt. You kind of take out the weeds and woo, there you go. You get a good sized onion right there. So it's kind of interesting to do this together as a family. It's kind of like treasure hunt together. Some people search for eggs, we're searching for onions.
What do you mean people search for eggs?
Easter egg hunts.
Oh, yeah.
We have onion hunts. Dead joke. I think there's one in the middle there that I didn't see. Yep, there it is.
My hands are wet.
Yep, there it is. Well, it's not as big as I thought it was.
Oh, yeah, those ones over there. Those are big ones,
here they are.
too.
They're right next to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, clear out some of these weeds just so you can see how big they are.
Wow, those are huge. Oh, that one kind of split a little bit.
Yeah, but that's pretty good size.
Wow, amazing.
Really big.
Oh, do you see that grub underneath? I can go to the chickens. So we got this wheelbarrow full of onions from the first bed, and now we're getting started on our next bed over here. We have about 200 onions in this bed over here, so this is going to be a lot of onions. But the onions in this bed are not as big as the ones in the other in the raised bed. Yeah, we have a few big ones in this bed, but not as many. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the variety or maybe, I don't know. I think, now that I remember, I think in this bed we did not amend with Trifecta Plus, but in the bed, in the raised bed, we did. So yes, I love using Trifecta Plus from M.I. Gardner, and it is always so good for our plants. So we're going to go ahead and harvest all of these because I want to make this bed another green bean bed, just like the one we have here that we harvested from a little bit ago. I am going to plant some green beans here so that we have one last crop of green beans. We have a mixture of different varieties here. We have, I can see some of the red ruby onions. We have the white Spanish and other varieties that we planted. I am not very picky about like separating them by varieties because I'm not going to be saving seeds. But all of these that we planted this year, I'm very happy with. So I will probably order the same ones for next year as well.
Help me.
This is just so exciting. So many onions. We eat a lot of onions, so this is great.
Lots and lots of onions. Beautiful onions.
Oh, finally. Good sized one. Been pulling a lot of medium to small. It's encouraging when we get to pull a big one like that.
Again, this bed is full of weeds, but all this green that you see over here, that's actually chamomile. In the beginning of the season, we had chamomile plants here and they went to seed. And now that happened. We have probably thousands of little chamomile plants growing there. And all of this needs to be weeded because we are going to be planting more green beans.
This is a massive harvest. Massive.
I don't know if we're gonna have space for more.
I know.
I'm having a hard time trying to find space
We're
here.
gonna run out of space.
Yeah, but also in the garage. I don't know where we're going to put them.
We'll figure it
Because
out.
I think we should stop.
These need to cure. Yeah, I don't think we can fit any more in the wheelbarrow. It's going to be hard to carry too, guys.
Yeah, that's a good size one. Look at that.
Alright, what do
That's
I
a
put
white
them
one.
now?
Just make a pile of them over here in the path.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. Hi-ho, hi-ho.
We're just piling them here because we have no more space in the wheelbarrow. We'll just come pick them up later.
Yep, and we're getting to the end of the onions.
Then we begin the weeding.
Nico, can you grab that one? Last onions from this bed here.
Woo!
All right.
Nope.
Nice.
Oh, one more right there.
We did it, guys.
Good
We
job,
got all
guys.
the onions.
Oh wait, guys. One more. What a big one. So beautiful.
Weed.
No way. This is the bulb, guys. This is the bulb right here. It's just very spiky.
It's a lot of onion, and it's quite heavy.
And it's falling out.
All over the place.
All over the
Are you
place.
dropping onions?
Yeah, so I'm carrying the excess.
You're collecting them. That's great.
I was afraid the most onions were going to fall out there.
All right, we have a couple different zucchinis that we're going to harvest today.
Yeah, Glenn and I just spent a while cutting away some of these leaves that have powdery mildew. And then we were able to see them actually.
Unfortunately, this one is bad.
What?
It's got a really lots of squishy. I don't know if you, oof. There it goes.
Oh,
It's really squishy and gross. Yep. And give that right to the chickens.
that's one of the benefits of having the chickens right here. So close. I wonder why that happened.
Not quite sure why.
I've never.
It looked good on the outside. Here's the.
Does that one look okay?
Yep, this one's firm. It's good. Here's another good size one. I'm feeling it. It is feeling healthy and good. I'm gonna twist here at the stem. There we go. Came off nice and easy. Nice one. Very nice. Another one right by it right here. Yep, this one feels good. And again, twist right here. There we go. That's how you break it off appropriately.
So a lot of these plants have squash vine borers, and we decided not to do anything about it. It's just too much to try to manage that as well, along with everything else. But their new growth looks really good. Has male and female flowers, and we have some small zucchini that are already developing as well. So here we are again, harvesting more kale. Just feels like it never ends.
Yeah, it really does. Feels like it's grown a lot.
A lot of these leaves are getting like twisted because they're getting squished by the netting. So I think it's because the plants are just getting really tall. So I'm actually considering removing these plants. And here we have some Swiss chard that I transplanted a few weeks ago that could probably use the sun. They're not growing as well as I thought they would because these kale plants just keep getting big. Every time I harvest them to open up some sunlight for these plants, it just keeps getting covered again because the kale plants are just growing too much. It is a lot of harvesting that we have to do today, so we are having the boys help us again today, which we really always appreciate their help. We have so many of these huge bundles of kale that we're pulling up. It's insane. But we are making sure we're harvesting as much kale as we can because later on today we're going to be fertilizing all of our beds, and we don't like to harvest kale even just a few days after fertilizing because yeah, it can be a little stinky. And even though it doesn't change the taste, even though it doesn't affect the taste of the kale, it's just a little stinky. So we are that's why we're trying to harvest all of it today. All right, Nico found some big cucumbers here that we're hiding. Good job, Nico. We have a ton of cucumbers to harvest from these 2 rows here.
So I kind of cut it close to the stem, like kind of like this. I don't know if you can see him, but and then yeah, just is better that way.
Yeah, just keep walking. There's more that way. Do you see that fat one?
Yep.
That one is so big.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow, I didn't even see that one. Oh wow, Nico, I didn't even see that one either. That one's probably the biggest. Can I
Yeah.
see that one? Yeah, that one's huge.
It's long and plump.
Yeah, good job. Nico's going to brave this row over here, and he's going to harvest as many of the cucumbers as he can. Wow, so much. How many do you think you've gotten, Nico?
Maybe somewhere around the 15,
Yeah,
16.
yeah, I
Somewhere
think you're
around
about
there.
right. So much. Some of them are a little bit too big, but we don't mind them that big. They actually don't taste bad. But if they get too seedy, we'll just remove the seeds and then we'll chop them up and put them in salads, or we will remove the seeds and cut them like carrot sticks, and then we'll use them with dip and stuff. But that's only if they're too seedy. For the most part, it doesn't matter. We don't really mind. Some of the small ones that Nico's getting, I am going to try to use to make pickles. And I said try. I don't know if I actually will, but I'll give it a try. Whoa, you found a big one right there. Oh man, good one. So some of our plants are struggling because You can see the leaves have yellow spots and some of them are turning brown. I think the plant has got some kind of disease and we're just not going to worry about it. We're just going to let it run its course because it's too much to mess with. But Glenn and I did spend some time pruning some of these bad leaves. And we have a lot of squash bugs. So we have eggs here, more eggs over there, and we have a lot of squash bugs in all different stages. It is quite horrible, but like I said, we're just not gonna worry about it too much. We're gonna manage as much as we can. All right, Nico, do you wanna bring all those cucumbers? Oh my goodness, I think your basket's not gonna be big enough, Nico.
I'll make it.
You'll make it work. Wow. Yes, I really do have to try to make some pickles because this is just a lot of cucumbers. We have been doing a pretty good job keeping up with our harvest and consuming the food that we're growing, but I think we are going to have to give some away because they don't store for very long. You still have so much more to go, Nico. You still have more on the other row. Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah. What an incredible harvest from our small backyard. I hope this encourages you to keep growing your food or start growing your food no matter how much space you have. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll see you next time.